Welcome to another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. Here we are looking at Bitcoin US dollar. Bitcoin versus US dollar on the Coinbase chart. And because it has less lines than my other chart. Now, first I want to address this head and shoulders that people see here. There isn't really a well-defined head and shoulders pattern. There is kind of one. And they say it's going to take us down to 77 or something like that. But no, I don't think so. There we are in a reversal pattern, but we've seen this before on Solana consolidation. For one, I think we probably saw it back in the consolidation in Bitcoin over that long period that we had. So basically here we were coming up in this orange channel and this red channel, yes. And now we are reversing into this yellow downward sloping set of channels. And you can see that we even started that here. So arguably, yes, there is kind of a head and shoulders pattern. There is a reversal pattern here. But really what it's doing is it's just forming a set of where we switch back and forth. We do a head and shoulders pattern here, start heading down this way in this channel, and then we get back to the bottom of our white parallel channel here, and we form this inverted head and shoulders with the shoulder here, and forming now the head, and forming now then another shoulder into mid-January, and that reverses us back up to the top of the white channel, up around 110, quite possibly. We'll have to see how that plays out, but you can see that we are forming, we're finishing up the head if we continue up here. And I do believe we will continue up here. So let's see what happens. Now, that kind of doesn't fall in line really with what I previously thought was going to happen here. First off, let's switch to the other chart. Now we're on the US dollar index, Bitcoin US dollar index, one-day chart. And it's been a while since I made a video, but remember I had this green circle here, and I had predicted that we would come down somewhere in that green circle, and we went right through it. Came down a lot farther than I thought, but really closed our candle bodies here in that range. And then I believe that we would, after this pullback, continue upwards, and that's what we did do. Now, I really thought that we might continue upwards from here and then see a pullback. Now, we saw the that we were getting close to the Gaussian channel, but with the Fed meeting last a couple weeks ago, I guess, kind of threw a wrench into everything here, and we saw a big pullback from that. Now things were getting overheated, and we were in store for a pullback, but that triggered the pullback a little prematurely, more premature than I had been anticipating. I could have rallied a little bit further here. And then seen a pullback. I did believe that we would continue on outside of the white parallel channel here, and then see the pullback in January. But needless to say, we pulled back. We had this big pullback here first. Now, that kind of messes up the big pullback in January, as the big pullback in January would be fed by people taking profits. I believe a lot of people took profits here, but I understand why they would do that before the end of the year, and having to create tax liabilities then. Anyway, let's move back over to, well, let's stay here for a second, because what we've done, you can see, is that we just came back down to the bottom of the white parallel channel right here. So it makes sense that now we would continue back upwards through the channel. And I believe that is what we're going to do. And it still falls in line with our move upwards into in the first week of January up till about the 7th of January. It's typically what happens in the year after, in the bull market year before the parabolic run. Is that we do move upwards the first week of January, and then we see a big pullback as people take profits in the first part of the year. So at this point, I do think we will move up and then maybe see not as big of a pullback as we have in the past. I was looking to somewhere around mid-January that we would have that pullback, maybe 20-30%, and get us back down into the $80,000 and possibly even down to $74,000 or $77,000, and that would we'd have cascading liquidations fueled by people taking profits from last year in this year, so that they wouldn't have to worry about the tax implications of those until next year. So let's switch back to Coinbase. Wow, well, as I'm doing this video, we seem to be heading upwards. We were initially pulling back. If you look on the 5-minute chart here. Yeah, this has just happened in the past 10 minutes. We had been pulling back since the beginning of this new day right here. Right there. We had been heading back downwards, but now we're going the right direction. Going the direction I believed we would go. It's going to be it's a little volatile now. We're getting big moves up and big moves down, as people are probably taking, there is some profit taking going on, and people probably have a lot that they want to dump on the market at once. So you'll see big moves up and big moves down. But overall, I believe the trend will be upwards over the next week. It's funny, I accidentally clicked on this Binance chart by accident instead of Coinbase. Well, this shows things a little bit differently with these channels that I have drawn here. Now, these channels were here long before this price action. They stem from way back here, September of 2023. When we came into this set of channels here. These are all perfectly parallel with one another. Some are green, some are yellow, and they're offset a little bit, but they're all going the same direction. So since September 2023, we've been trading upwards in these channels. As you can see, clearly hitting the bottoms and tops of these channels as support and center lines as well. And then we had our long consolidation here in March, where we traveled downwards in this orange bull flag channel. And then now, since September, a full year later, we've been traveling upwards in this channel. We had a big pump up to the upper portion of the channel above it. And now we've fallen back below into the lower portion of that channel. And what I think here is then that we maybe come up and get a double top at about 108. That would be around the 8th, 9th of January. That falls in line with where we typically see a pullback in January. Since we had this pullback already, instead of continuing up here and having one large pullback, let's see if we did continue up here until about the 8th of January. Let's see what that would be. The 9th of January. And let's see if we pulled down. Yeah, that would be about 18% down to 95. If we pulled all the way down, if we came all the way down to about 89, let's say into the inauguration, into the 20th. Yeah, back down to about 90. You know what? That makes sense because look at, then we'll have another, we'll just be hitting this bottom here for support. Back down to around 90,000, heading into the inauguration. That would have been about a 22% pullback had we simply gone up here. Instead, what we've done, we've got a pullback here, and now I think we will rally probably up to the green line or the yellow dashed line here. Technically, we're trading in the yellow channel here. They're offset a little bit, but the green channel, you can see back here, we do have candle bodies closing on that green channel right there. So possibly somewhere around anywhere from the 7th heading into the weekend of the 12th, somewhere at the end of next week, mid to end of next week, I believe we will rally up to about 108, see a double top, and then pull back probably maybe down to the green line here. It'd be around 91,000, and you can see that we would be touching these other levels of support, and that would give us another 15% pullback. So I believe that's probably what's going to happen. And then from there, I know when I moved it, my God. Then from there, boom, game on. Well, we'll have to see what happens. I think we'll see significant moves upwards from there. Now let's go to the Coinbase chart to see how that theory falls in line with what's going on over here. So 8th or 9th of January up to about 108,000. Whoa, gotta go way up here. Yeah, back up to the top of the channel. Yep, certainly. That brings us back up to the top of the white channel. Yeah, so I think we will, over the course of the next week, see a significant rally. And then a pullback down to where we are at now. Heading around into the inauguration, down to about 91,000. Where does that get us? Yeah. Right here to the bottom part of this channel. That makes sense, as we've used the bottom part of this channel as support. Here, we've been consolidating downwards in this channel right here. So it makes sense that we would see a pull out up here and then a pull back down through the bottom of our white channel and down here. Now that also falls in line with interacting with the Gaussian channel. I have the green dotted arcs right there that represent the Gaussian channel. And as you can see here, I just turned it on the daily time frame here. And remember, I had been talking about getting close to it here. I thought we would be able to avoid it, continue upwards, and then have that big correction into it. So we already had the correction into it. And I do believe then we will bounce out of it. Instead of, falling right through it here, how we're going to interact with it, because it's not, this part hasn't formed yet. Once it's happened, it's easier to see that we fell into the Gaussian channel, but we really didn't. We went sideways into it, into the bottom of it. So if we were to pull out of it now, up here, and then come back down into it again, and where was it, like the 20th or so up here, that would bring us all the way back down to the bottom of the channel. So we'd have some interaction with the top part of the channel, break out of it briefly, come back down to the bottom of the Gaussian channel as it continues on over here, and then move through it and bust above it and continue our parabolic rally, I believe. Now, yeah, towards the end of the month, end of January. Well, I don't want to talk about that yet. So let's just talk about where we've heading up over the next couple weeks. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, if you look at the oscillators here on the daily time frame too, you can see on the RSI we're crossing back up above the moving average, and we are below the 50 line, but we'll very soon be above the 50% line there. So that's looking good. And here on the stochastic RSI, we have this double thingy, this W-shaped thing, and we're moving upwards here. So that makes sense. And on the stochastic as well, we're crossing back above, we're crossing upwards above the moving average, where we already did that a couple days ago, I guess, and heading upwards. And we're below 50 right now, but heading up in the right direction. So that makes sense. Now, if you go, we're on daily time frame, and you go back in time, and so you see where we've had something similar to this. And let me move this up here. There we go. Let's go back in time. Let's put that on a, you know what, we don't need the Gaussian channel on anymore, really. Or maybe we should. Let's leave it on for a second just to see. So here we've had a similar formation, and we're right here at this point in that. And actually, we were in the Gaussian channel as well at that point. Stochastic RSI was down here, heading upwards. We're in the same position as we were here in October, and we saw this rally upwards. Now, I did say earlier that then around about in about a week or so, week and a half, that we would see another pullback. I don't know. Let's address that. I think so. That falls in line with everything I was looking at before. And it makes sense because the market is kind of, everybody's looking. Everybody's scared that we're going to see some sort of big dump down to 77, 74, 88, whatever. And so they're really reluctant to throw money into this thing. And so that makes a lot of sense. I think I don't know. We'll see what happens over the next week or so. So there's one. Here's another one right here. Look at this. Another similar formation right here in September. And, well, we were well below the Gaussian channel at that point, but nonetheless, same formation on the stochastic RSI, the stochastic indicator, and we were just crossing up here above the moving average, below the 50 level as well there. And same thing here. Everything's the same as those previous moves, and we had significant rallies afterwards. Now these rallies continued. Let's zoom in and look at these. We don't need this on now. So we're talking about these rallies from September here. It's like it was September 9th or so, yeah. Oops, I double clicked. Double click. So that rally was 22%. But after about a 12% move, we did see that sharp pullback and then continue on with the rally. So maybe we do see something like that, but maybe even a bigger pullback and then continue on with the rally. Now let's see, this one is October. Yeah, this is the October one. And this just kept going and going and going to where we're at today. See, that is 74 right there. That's why everybody thinks we're going to come back down here and retest that. You don't need to do that in a strong market. Do we come back down to maybe here? That's 77. I don't think, I think we find support maybe up here. This is possible. So, take the necessary precautions. Maybe only to 80, or maybe to this wick here, 81. I don't even think we're gonna get that really. I think really that we're gonna come back down to 90, because when you do that, I think we're just gonna come back down to 90. Because when the market does that, you're letting people accumulate that missed their chance. And they don't get a second chance. You don't get a second chance. Not here, buddy. So I don't think there's anything else I need to go on about. I made my point. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We're above 95 now. Yeah, I think we're going to rally to the top of this channel back up to 108. Now, we might not get there. Maybe we come here. Maybe we only come to 100. Maybe we get back up to 100. And then come crashing back down to where we're at now. So that's a possibility too. But look right here. Well, I don't know. We'll have to take a look at that as we get here. We might just come back up to about 100, up to the center line of this channel, heading into next week, and then see a big pullback. So let's just see what the oscillators and the market sentiment looks like then. And okay, so we'll see you next time.